continuing the theme of longtime Asburyans coming back to Asbury who have moved away and came back. And when I first came to Asbury in 1993, became friends with a DJ here in Savannah named Lyn Michaels. And Lyn met Jason Carden and had the honor of marrying Lyn and Jason. But then they ran off up north and left us. But not too long ago, they came back. And they're back at Asbury. And not only that, they brought someone else with them. And so at this time, Lyn Carden and Ashelyn will come and share their story, part of their faith story with us. Thank you.
Good morning. So until I moved to Savannah, I'm a lot louder. So until I moved to Savannah in 1994, the sum total of my experience in church was 2 years in a private Catholic church school, because my parents didn't think middle school was horrible enough. And then, when I moved to high school, a couple of friends convinced me to go to a Baptist church with them. So that's all I knew about church. I had a strong belief in a higher power. It's just, I was sure no one could articulate it very well, because the nuns and the Baptist minister did definitely not share my vision of God. Shortly after I moved here, I met the person who would end up being my lifelong best friend. So when Catherine Murph started telling me about Asbury, I was trying to be open. I admit I was a little skeptical, but she persisted in inviting me to this great church, and she swore it was different than what I knew church to be. After a couple of months, I finally was convinced to visit Asbury, and in early 1995, I pulled into the parking lot at the corner of Waters and Henry, and I was really, really unsure. A couple of weeks ago, Alex told a story about how she had pulled into Asbury for the first time, and she thought she was at the right church, but she was wrong. For those of you that remember Waters and Henry in 1995, I thought I had pulled into the wrong church. So I thought, it'll be okay. I got out of the car and I went in. What I experienced that day was a young, amazing pastor. Yes, we were all young back then. He was actually able to articulate my vision of what God was. He made God real and the church applicable to real life. He pulled from different religions and welcomed everyone. He was easy to talk to, and when I had questions about spirituality that wasn't in the Methodist doctrine, he was open and welcomed the conversation, to my shock. As much as I loved Asbury, I honestly had commitment issues. So it took me 2 more years to move from a Wildberry to a member. 3 years after that, I got married at Asbury in the candlelight service, which effectively, for those of you that remember this, hid the green carpeting. I even had a beautiful white clown made for me by the elderberries that sat and watched the service overhead, although nobody could see it because it was a candlelight service. In 2004, Jason and I were blessed to have this amazing child, and when we made the very difficult decision to move to the Great North, also known as Atlanta, in 2006, one thing that I knew I had to get done before I left, no matter what, was to get Ashelyn baptized by Billy at Asbury. A year and a half ago, I was thrilled when my family made the easy decision to come home. One of the first things that I did was bring Ashelyn to Asbury. When I heard Laura Angel was the youth group director, I was thrilled. She is just wonderful. At the end of the summer, Ashelyn had her first youth group event, and that's when I met Chris and Bridget, who are amazing, plus a group of loving and welcoming children that both Ashelyn and I knew were going to help her make Asbury her church home. From here, I'll let her tell the story.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashlyn, and I've been attending Asbury for about 1.5 years. I've not had as much of an adventurous life as my mom, but I never really attended church until Asbury. I always wanted to, but the nearest church that we liked was about 45 minutes away. My mom said that we made an easy move to Savannah. I did not find this easy. I'd lived in Atlanta for 11 years, and everything I knew and loved was there. Since I was only 12, I didn't get much say. And in my little 12-year-old mind, the only thing that was standing between me was affecting me and not my family. Before the youth group's ice cream social, I only had one friend. I hadn't attended any events since we moved. And so, if you know me, I'm a pretty social person, so my mom thought it was a no-brainer to take me. But I was really nervous. Having to have my mom nearly drag me out of the car, I went, and I loved it. I met Miss Laura, Chris, and Bridget, and everyone there was so nice. And after that, I loved attending church. I attend Asbury almost every Sunday, and I go to youth group weekly, and it's one of the highlights of my week. I love Asbury, what it stands for, and all the people in it. So I would love to say thank you, and for Asbury for helping me through the joy, laughter, tears, and sorrows.